a lot more fun than I expected. Hey, I'm Amy and welcome back. I just got back from seeing The Spy Who Dumped Me and I was fairly surprised by it. I mean, I wasn't completely blown away by it, but I had a lot of fun. Going into this, I know I normally, with most of these movies, not only the reviews, but also the 1001 Movie Challenge, if you haven't watched that, check it out. Anytime I go into a movie that I have not seen before, I try to go into it with as little knowledge as possible. But with this one, I had heard talk about it. I heard from people online that it was actually getting pretty decent reviews, that people who saw it early actually really liked it. And I had a friend whose boyfriend saw it and said that he really enjoyed it as well. I went into this pretty hopeful, but I wasn't holding my breath for a spectacular movie. It did surprise me. I also thought it would be kind of more of the stereotypical comedy, but it ended up, in my opinion, feeling very much like a spy movie mixed with Bridesmaids, but also a very satirical spy movie. Like, it knew what it was and it was playing to all of the stereotypes that you would see in a spy movie, but turning it up to an 11. It was so much fun. The action scenes were pretty cool. Kate McKinnon and Mila Kunis actually did a pretty decent job as spies and doing a lot of the action scenes. Probably didn't do them on their own. They probably had stunt doubles, but at the same time, they were great. Not only as action heroes, I say that in quotes, but they did great as the stars of this movie as well. They have a great chemistry together. Their friendship is very believable, and that is the strong holding point through this entire movie. My friend whose boyfriend saw this earlier said that the thing that he liked the most about it was the friendship between the two main characters, and watching that, I really noticed it as well. Or watching the movie, I really noticed that as well. They don't have the very stereotypical relationship that most female leads or a female lead and her best friend have in not only an action movie but any kind of comedy movie in general. They really stick together. They don't have a fight at the climax of the movie and then just split off on their separate ways and then come back together at the very end and it's all forgiven. No, they stick together and they become even closer, I think, as friends. They support each other, they love each other, they literally tell each other everything, and that plays a big role within the film, and I think that is great. They really play to Kate McKinnon's style of comedy. It's very much her expressions and her physical comedy, and she does a great job. I love Kate McKinnon. She's probably one of my favorites on SNL right now, and she's probably my favorite part of the all-female Ghostbusters cast. So I was very excited to see this movie to begin with because of Kate McKinnon, and she really brought it for me. Not so much Mila Kunis. I can take her in small doses. Like, in some episodes of That 70s Show, I can be like, okay, I'm okay with you, but I can't watch a whole lot of That 70s Show because she gets a little bit annoying. But that was also, like, what, 10 plus years ago or something like that. I don't really watch her in anything else she's ever done. Bad Moms just looked really stupid to me, so I did never watch that. And I don't think I've really ever watched anything else she's in. I don't know. Justin Theroux also was a kind of big selling point for me because I don't think I've ever really seen him in anything actiony. I know he was in The Leftovers, but didn't watch The Leftovers, even though I know it's very similar to Lost, and I loved Lost up until the end because that's how everybody likes Lost. I never watched him in anything except for comedies, so to see him in more of an action-y role, I really, really liked that as well because he did a great job. There is an opening scene that he has a really cool action sequence in, and I thought it was a lot of fun. The way that they cut the action sequence together with like kind of telling Justin Theroux's side of the story as the intro to this movie, plus getting Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon's stories kind of merging together a little bit, or to introduce all three characters. They did it in a very interesting way with some very comedic cuts between the action-y scenes and the kind of more regular people scenes. And with the action is some of the most insane and bloody It was just, it's intense. And it's very funny. The action scenes and the kills and the violence does get very graphic and very bloody, but at the same time, it is very funny. This movie is rated R for a reason. Most of it is because of how graphic the violence can get, but also the language. So if that's a thing that you're not really liking, or you don't really like, or you're not a fan of, you probably won't like this movie because it is poop jokes, fart jokes, violence, blood, guts, gore. It's very intense, but at the same time, like I said, it feels to me like the humor from Bridesmaids got mixed with a spy movie, and it became self-aware and became a parody of itself. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I was enjoying myself the entire time. I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. There wasn't a whole lot of notes I took on this because the plot was very predictable for an action movie. Because it is a self-aware action movie, there are a couple twists and turns, but you do kind of see them coming from a mile away with plot points that they kind of laid out breadcrumb style for you to find. So I wasn't like super hyped on the story. The story kind of brought it down a little bit, but the action scenes kind of the same way with Fallout for me. I was there for the action and the fun and the comedy, whereas the story didn't really matter as much, and like kind of the same with Fallout, but for Fallout I was there for the action and the actors and stuff as well. But it's not really like a super funny movie. Or, well, it's more funny than the original. But Fallout is not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about The Spy Who Dumped Me. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, because I was absolutely surprised that this person made a small little cameo, even though I think they were in the trailers, I just didn't remember that they were in the trailers, was Gillian Anderson. And when Kate McKinnon sees her, it's not Gillian Anderson as Gillian Anderson, it's Gillian Anderson with her British accent playing the boss. And when Kate McKinnon saw her, or Kate McKinnon's character saw her, and it's kind of not hinted, but it's blatantly put throughout the first half of this movie that Kate McKinnon's character is a huge feminist and is very for like women's rights and women kind of taking over the world. And when Kate McKinnon's character sees Gillian Anderson's character, she just starts fawning over her and is like obsessed with her and in love with her. She is just fawning over her because of the power that she holds. And I just feel that whenever you see Gillian Anderson in anything, that's kind of the persona she gives off. I don't know if that's just because she was so badass on the X-Files, and I absolutely love her in the X-Files, but my reaction when I first saw Gillian Anderson on the screen was this just insane happiness and like obsession. I was just like, yes, please give me more of that, even though she's only in this movie for 5 minutes total. I just felt like Kate McKinnon's character kind of said what every person in the theater who is a fan of Gillian Anderson was thinking. And good on you, screenwriters or director. Probably just Kate McKinnon in general, because who wouldn't fawn over Gillian Anderson? But enough Gillian Anderson fawning over for this video. I think that is everything. If you have seen The Spy Who Dumped Me, please let me know. Actually, I haven't given this a score yet. I would definitely rewatch this again. Probably not add to my collection to have it in my collection. I may buy this sometime if it's like in the $5 bin at Walmart, but I would probably rent this to have a fun action movie marathon night or a weekend or something with some friends. So I would Redbox. I would definitely give this a Redbox score. It is a lot of fun. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of gore. The jokes are pretty funny. There were some times where I was actually laughing out loud. Sometimes it was mostly just because of the situation and because other people in the theater were laughing, but there were some genuinely funny moments in this. So yeah, I think that is everything. Let me know your thoughts on The Spy Who Dumped Me in the comments down below, if you have seen it or if you think you may go see it in the future. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really truly do appreciate every single one of you. Let me know who you are in the comments down below, and let's be friends. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe if you're new, because I love talking all things movies, TV shows, filmmaking, film history, all of that fun stuff, and I'll see you next time. Bye!